So let me tell you about my first meeting with Paul Young. As I mentioned, Pam Hogewide introduced me to him, and Pam certainly was not a powerful or influential person, but she had enough moxie to actually ask for an interview with Paul, and he agreed, which really impressed me, that he would take time for somebody who was not, you know, a major, he was doing major interviews at that point, but he met with Pam, and that really impressed me. So I asked Paul if he would do an interview with me, so I took a crew and we went to Portland, and we did an interview with him. You can actually find it on YouTube. If you go there and put in Jim Henderson and Paul Young, you'll find the interview I did with him, and it'll explain a lot to you. But in preparation for that, I read his book, The Shack. Now, just for full disclosure, I don't read fiction because I only do it as a favor to my friends or when I have to do it to prepare an interview. And it's just a thing that I have. So there's nothing wrong with fiction, it's just that I don't tend to read it. But I did read it, and I was impressed, and I knew it was controversial. I understood that Christians would find it controversial, etc. But I found it interesting and well written, but I was really more interested in him. So when we met, we did an interview, and he again recounted the story for me about, you know, the difficulties he had gone through it and the backstory on the book. And there's so many interesting things, because Paul just a few years ago was selling soldering tips. He was working in a print shop. He was doing all sorts of odd jobs. And Paul is what I call a self-taught theologian and a student of the Bible, and he's really an expert on the Trinity. So when people think that he's playing fast and loose with the Bible around the Trinity, they don't really understand how much he's thought about it and researched it. So I was very impressed with him. So it was actually Paul, the person that intrigued me, that led to the project we call Stories from the Shack, way before we got to the book. So I'm going to tell you more about that in the next segment as well. But I wanted to give you a little bit of background about how that came about in this piece here.